Hey everybody, this is Caesar with Small Engine Velocity coming at you with a Ruckus video. Kind of a how-to, but more of how I do it type thing. And this is a pretty common thing that after you get to a certain point with your Honda Ruckus that you want to do, but you're not quite sure if you can do it, but then at the same time, you don't know if you're going to make it look good. And there are many other options that people do from when they do this to make it look good. Here's what we're going to do. So here is a brand new Ruckus frame. I don't know what year it's from, but here's the graphic on the side. I don't know if that tells you anything about what year it is. But what we're going to do is we're going to shave this off and make it as nice and round as possible. At the same time, we'll also remove this. I think I'm going to go ahead and remove this and this and this. This is a mount that's going to go on a GY6. This may end up on my bike if we do a custom frame, because I definitely want to do the custom frame. But if you look at how this is on here, it's welded on and it's just a piece of metal welded. So you're going to have to grind down the welds. At the same time, you're going to have to cut this off. And the key to doing this is making sure to cut not enough. And you don't want to cut to the point where you're nicking this. Anyways, let's go over the tools we're going to use for this. So we're going to use this. This is new in the arsenal. It is cordless though, but I'm going to use 2 batteries, so I should have enough battery power to get through cutting with this. And then with this, we're going to use this right here, which is just a grinding wheel. I also have a flap wheel, and then I also have some coarse grit sandpaper that I can use also on here. I got a couple of these to use. Kind of a specialty tool that I use is this cordless or corded belt sander type thing. And what you do is you leave this with some flex so you can put it around something whenever you're here. Example, when you're pushing it, so when you're pushing it against it, it will roll around like that whenever you're doing it, so you can get that rounded arc that you want. The problem I have with a grinding wheel is that when you're using it and you're hitting it and you're trying to make it round, the surface area that it's grinding isn't a lot. So the inconsistency in the way you grind around it and go back and forth, you'll always end up with some slight lines. Now, a good way to avoid that is to use this and then just get a long piece of sandpaper, hold it between your 2 hands, and just rock it back and forth as you go. But you want this to look as good as you want. Or should I say, as good as you can get it to look. It is on the back. Now, there are people who use Ronk's carbon fiber cover to cover the cutoff on here. And then there are other people who use the dingleberry. It's like a little thing that you clip on and you can hang a license plate off of or something. And normally those are cover-ups. Now, if you live in the Houston area, I have all these specialized tools. If you want to come over or you want me to come and visit or something, I'm more than happy to help or use the tools over there at your house. We could work out a form of payment or maybe a pizza or something. Who knows? So it's not too hard to do, it's just time consuming, and you just want to make sure that you take your time when you do it, because if you happen to grind too much, then you'll have a dip, and dips, unless you're using body filler or something like that, that are really hard to avoid cleanup on. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do a long time lapse until we get to the very, very end, and we'll review the work. Anyways, let's go ahead and shave that tail bracket off. Okay, so I laid down primer so I could see what it looks like, and I want to share that with you now. We'll do a little tiny review before we continue grinding. So here's not the final product, but where we're at now. I don't know if you can see it, probably not, but there's still some lines going across. It's shaped more like a stop sign right now because it's got like flat edges still. I can see them. If you powder coat it, it will probably go away, but I'm gonna go ahead and smoothen it out. I changed to 120 grit on the belt sander thingamabob. It's called a pipe polisher. But while I have battery power on the grinder, I'm gonna go ahead and cut that. I think I'm gonna leave that one. That could be useful, but I definitely don't need these two. Eventually we'll do these, but I don't feel like doing them right now. So let's go ahead and get the cutting wheel, and let's just start cutting things off. And yes, I am wearing safety goggles. So here we go. Okay, so that part's done. I didn't refine on the other two pieces that I cut. I can do that later on. I just really want to get this tail fender part really good. So now we got primer on it. Let's wait a few hours and then we'll come back and take a look. All right, it's been a little bit of time, so let's go ahead and take a look. I want to kind of point a couple of things out on the finished grinding that we did on the rear fender. So you may notice that you might be able to see a little bit of line right here across the top. That's where the paint ends. So the paint is the ridge. Everywhere else it looks nice and smooth. If I can kind of get an edge view, I don't know. looks pretty good on here. I like it. It came out the way I wanted to. Now, if you look at the other parts, I already did the grinding and the belt on here, and it looked pretty good, but there's still paint all over here. I also did this side too. So there you go. So really, this tool, it was super critical for the way I wanted to do it. I did have to go through a 120 belt, a 380 belt, and a 410 or something, a 400 belt, which is I think right there. And there's all my spare belts over there. I did have to use the cutter, which I just threw all my junk all over the floor, and I did have to use my vice grip. In my eyes, I can do some more. I may do a little bit more, but I won't do it in this video. But that's kind of how I want to do all the rear frames of whatever it is whenever I'm doing a Ruckus from now on. You might as well spend as much time as you want on it, because once you do it and then you get it powder coated, you're not going to be able to get an opportunity to do it again unless you really want to sand it and then repowder coat or repaint your rear frame. But anyways, hope this was entertaining as well as a little bit informative. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see everybody in the next video. Thank you.